Welcome back. Still talking about the Nigerian Professional Football League. This time around, stakeholders meeting in Lagos on Tuesday to really talk about some of the issues, some of the problems, being faced by the clubs and, of course, the administration of the league in Nigeria. Yemi, a whole lot, going on talking about football, funding issues and everything.
Yeah, it's true. I mean, they've talked about how, we can make money from football, how, I mean, some of these clubs, you just hear somebody leaves Shooting Stars, go to Esperance, and you hear the amounts involved, and you think, if you're able to sell this kind of player, you should better the lot of the club, but you still see the club, still, some of those issues, and I'm very sure you quite agree that if they can tighten those holes, sanitize the system somewhat, some of this club probably should not, some of the stories we hear, we'll probably not be hearing it again.
Well, it's as long as most of those clubs are still owned by the government, there's always checks and balance. When that kind of money come in, as much as it's for the club, it's still a government enterprise, so it goes through a lot of processes. So for me, I think the best way is let's work on the game first.
Mm-hmm.
I think the management will eventually, get into its place. Let's work on player management. Let's talking about player contracts, player payments, and generally players' welfare. Because I think. And when you're talking players' welfare, you're talking good pitches, you're talking good player management. So for me, I think that's, for me, where to start.
All right.
You can't have, it's only in the MPFL you have a player play for 3 different clubs in one season. People forfeit.
Come on now.
People forfeit their long-term old wages because they want to move abroad and stuff like that. It's not supposed to happen. You owe players for 7 months and then you just ask them to go.
Yeah, just leave. Okay.
For me, I think that's where to start.
Yeah.
If we can keep our players, look at this. What happens? Our best legs from last season were not available for Chan because they had.
And that's what some of the issues the stakeholders are concerned about. Maybe we'll listen to them. They're concerned about the fact that we have to compete against European leagues, and that's a tall order. One player plays 1 season here, he wants to travel abroad. All right, let's listen to the stakeholders. They have a whole lot to say about Nigerian Football League. They're really interested in ensuring that the league develops and, be able to fight off the competition from European leagues. So we'll listen to them come back from our sports this morning.
If the clubs are under government control, I want to bring private sectors in. If we open the revenue for television, the private people will come in because they know that there are revenues for them, whatever their input will be financially, that there will be revenues from betting, that there will be revenues from television. They put it together, okay, maybe I'll put 1/3 of what I'm supposed to put 100%. And you begin to see now that we can grow a 3-tier league, even 4-tier league, that will be very viable before you talk about the grassroots. So if you look at it, this is a game that can give us revenue more than oil and gas, as far as I'm concerned. And if you talk about what football has done to the image of this country in terms of public relations, if you put all the missions, all the foreign missions Nigeria has together, it's not as strong as the image football is given to this country of sports. So we must focus and ensure that there is sufficient revenue. These revenues are outside the hands of government. Because we saw these things, we looked at the act. The government has done its own bits. It's those of us that are stakeholders that should fight for our revenues to come into the system.
We have issues, in-house issues in NFF, but that's not enough for all these betting pool companies to just kick us in the groin and say, well, nothing goes to the local league and football development. Oh, we can sit here and criticize the NFF. No. This is not the time to fight. This is the time for it to come. And then you say, NFF have done this. You might have your difference. It's like a father who died and left his children. If you really want to go forward, when there is something to divide, you sit down and talk and get benefit out of it. Here is the thing. If and when that funds comes in, NFF will be given some benefit out of it.
All right. stakeholders are having their say, Harrison Jala, Mohamed Ado, I mean, a lot of things. And I saw you nodding your head. You kind of agree with some of the things you heard.
I agree with him. There's only so much the government will do. There are lots of red tape when it comes to government procedures. So you can't fast-track things when it comes to sports. But talking about keeping players in the league, if their welfare is not part of your priority, they will not stay.
Of course.
And if the game in Nigeria is not as attractive, they will not stay either. It's not everybody it's not everybody that will play in Europe. But then the people that are playing here would have good condition. We talk about having the players in the MPFL playing the national team. I always come out to say that as much as we want to see our own league players represented in the national team, are they good enough to represent Nigeria? Not because as players they could not have gotten better, but there's no transition to becoming better players. So the league has to get better. The clubs have to open themselves up to the public and allow private investors to invest in the league. From there, you can get TV rights, build interest. People don't watch the MPFL not because they play bad football, but because it is not available.
Yeah. And sometimes maybe not pleasing to the eye.
Yeah, because the pitches are not what they should be. But the South African League is aired. Their pitches are not always the best.
Yeah.
But you still sometimes you still spend time watching because it's in your face. You have to watch it.
Well, I think
recently we've started seeing MPFL team on social media, which you pick a lot of information from there because they are available. They're readily available from there. Now, if they can get airtime, people can actually say, okay, I'm sitting in my sitting room and I'm watching him by playing Plateau United. From there, you pick interest. You don't necessarily have to live there or go to the Agege Stadium to watch games.
A club having their own
when you're
TV.
saying you want more games, right? Because
yes, more
we already
games.
have, we have the network, already showing the MPFL and all that. Although, I mean,
a lot could still
have.
be
When you're
done.
saying maybe more games, like midweek games, you can also have them. Another maybe 3, 4, 5 more games.